Hello, welcome back to our page. I am Andrew Jensen, better known as AJ.
And I am Justin.
We are this week going to talk to you about some really cool things that we think are probably something you'll see on a regular basis when you go to a pro shop, or maybe you're thinking about getting a bowling ball. What would you do for when you get that thumb drilled? Are you going to drill it without a slug, or are you going to drill it with a slug?
Normally we recommend with a slug. Definitely a much better feel. Gives you much more of a consistent feel, because when you kind of look inside a bowling ball, there's all the textures from like the inner core and everything. That definitely gives you like a rough texture, where the thumb slugs are definitely a lot smoother, help get your thumb off the ball a lot cleaner, a lot quicker, and just a lot easier.
With what Justin said there, we're going to add to that a little bit. We've got a couple balls here that we want to show in this video, hoping that it translates pretty well in how you guys see everything out there. Here we have an old school ball, probably the first ball I ever threw a 300 with. Thought it was kind of ironic, but it's got a ball, it's got a hole, it's got a hole that actually has been drilled back through a plug area. I find in the shop, just probably like you do as well, as much as we've been in here, that when you drill back into those, it can stay pretty smooth. But then there's some issues when being drilled sometimes, just because the bits like to chatter if they're not sharp. Issues with going down in, the bits will actually like to taper sometimes. We have to watch on that on our end here to make sure everything's good, especially when you're doing a plain hole, something you're going to cut right back into the ball. In the ball to your left, watching the screen, is a slug inside of this ball, where it was actually cut at an oval for the person because the person does not have a round thumb.
Neither do I.
That is true. I mean, you can go sideways and see how it's a little skinnier, a little wider, thumbs up, I guess, whatever we want to do there. But the concept basically is that you have to find, or the pro shop operator you're going to has to find that for you, and sometimes it can be tricky on our end, and then also deciding whether or not you really want to go for a slug or no slug. We thought that'd be a really good conversation to talk about this time around, and kind of keep the train going so far on the thumb sizes as far as we go into cutting the balls for the thumbs, either switch grips or slugs or no slugs, sorry. When we are deciding that in the shop, a lot of times I feel like I will try to offer up the slug a little bit sooner, a little bit quicker. I know some shops will go right into doing the old school way, where we didn't really do the slugs quite that often sometimes. It just seems like it helps the bowler become a little bit better at that release point. I would imagine that there are some people that probably still would agree with the old school way of doing it, where you just drill a straight hole. What do you think the benefits are from that?
From drilling a straight hole, I mean, I think in my personal opinion, I think it's just kind of more of comfort, like especially like you said, it's kind of the old school way. So obviously when we have like older customers, they'll probably want the no thumb slug just because that's the way they're used to. In terms of actual benefit of release, I don't really know too much about that one, because I've always been basically always on thumb slugs. Basically since the day one of me being in the fingertip stuff, I was always in thumb slug, and now with being in the switch grips, again, you're always using thumb slugs. So I've personally always used thumb slugs, except for like my younger days, where obviously I don't really remember too much about. So I'd say the only real benefit I see out of no thumb slugs is if you're in that older generation and you are used to it and that's what's comfortable for you.
I think you hit it right on the head there. The comfort side of it, I think, is really the big thing there. So if you really feel like you have a comfort level that is tremendous to feel the ball itself, and that's what you've done, I think that's the way you need to go. I think on our end, it's just our way of trying to educate you when you come in the shop, and just try to give you ideas of what's going to be better or what will help you have the best release. So in our end of it, a lot of times that slug does give you that pretty good release out of a ball compared to what it used to give you, just for the fact that inside the ball, I mean, who sweats, or who has an issue with needing the dryer all the time to get your hand to not be wet. I think that this can also give some of that issue, because the reactive cover stock, the inner core, the core itself, whatever part of that you're actually touching, will get tacky. So in that instance, maybe we can talk about, you would want to maybe add in some Ultra Slide or some hand conditioner, or maybe you're the guy that needs the rosin bag, and maybe that's all back to that old school thing. This side of it, you may still need some of those things, but the thumb slug will actually get to a slicker and smoother release point. And as I think you can maybe see in here, there's quite a bit of tape in this one. This one was drilled for somebody that the thumb was just a little too big. Tape is definitely an option. You can still put in there and add a little bit of that texture. If you do have a slug, it'll add some texture back into the thumb. And then you're back to bowling the best you possibly can. Ovals and round thumbs, how often do you think we see either one?
I'd say we say oval thumbs a lot more often than round by a long shot. It's very rare that we see a round thumb, and typically when we do, it's kind of within the younger people who haven't really bowled that much. Usually the oval thumbs kind of come out when you're growing, and then also as a bowler, like as you bowl a lot, because me personally, I've gotten a really round thumb just because I've had a past history of squeezing, and that has made my oval piece of my thumb really, really big, where my front to back, or like the skinny part of my thumb, is still pretty small. So it does cause some weird drillings on thumbs. Like if you've seen one of my thumb slugs, you would definitely be questioning what in the world is that. But that's at least what fits me comfortably. But like I said, I think we will really only see round thumbs like within the younger generation, is because they haven't exactly gotten to the point on their body to really have a oval thumb just yet.
I think that's yes and no. I think there's a lot of great things that he's given you answer-wise, as far as how and who. The things that I would add to that for what I've seen through some of the years of being in the pro shop is, I'd say probably closer to 70 to 80% of people generally come in and have an oval thumb. And it's our job, your local pro shop's job, to try to get that to feel the best it can. And I'd say that one of the things that we hear most when either you're doing a round or a oval thumb is my thumb has this little popping sound. A lot of times you just have to get in there and kind of show them that this is the reason why. It's because you are squeezing a little bit back to kind of what he was saying, where he had done a little bit of squeezing, and that's kind of where his thumb's at now. If you are at that point, you know, it does become a little trickier. His thumb is definitely an odd shape at this point because of it. But I think we've done some things to help him kind of stop that from happening. So the key there, I think, is just finding somebody that you can trust to get you through that. I know a lot of really great shops out there that can help you. We just want to give you some information to be able to take with you as you enter into the pro shop and have hopefully the best experience you can have coming into there, because I want to be treated the same way that you want to be treated, with respect, with kindness, with care, and getting you in the right ball and the right fit's the key thing here. But these slugs, I think they're ideal. If you don't have one, maybe go back to your pro shop. They are a few extra bucks, I think, in the shop. Yes, they're a little extra money, but to me, they're worth it. And not even from the aspect of the shop guy taking somebody's money. It's more like they just are a better release, a better everything. There's a lot of things you can do with the thumb slug and different things. You can make molds, you can, which I guess we can kind of slightly hit on that a little bit. And then you can do molds. You can actually put those slugs into ITs like he was referring to. Definitely plenty of places and different companies make their options available, like we talked on our last video. That's why we kind of thought we would continue with this. So when it comes to getting a slug or no slug, it's kind of up to you, but I think we're going to find that most pro shops will lead you in the best direction that works for you for the entire part of your game. We did want to show you this little ball that we've created. I know that there's some things out there that, from a pro shop perspective, can help us cut your thumb correctly for that oval. We've actually just taken a T-zone that was sitting in the wall that's a little bit odder weight, that's just not quite going out the door, and drilled all the holes that we could possibly drill. So every bit size, we've got two different balls. We've got this one.
Yeah, one's back over there.
Okay. The other one that we have is it's got a lot smaller holes, a lot of the smaller end holes for like kids, or even like for fingers if we have to do bare holes for those. But this helps us get you more acquainted to the right concept for you, and then you know, as you look at somebody's hand from our perspective, when we're measuring your hand, we have to figure out what angle this is to create all of this goodness and what's going on with your slug and your no slug if you're deciding to go that direction. So hopefully we've given you some really great information. Do you have anything else that you feel like we should add on to it?
I think we've been hitting pretty much everything.
I think so too. We'll be back at you hopefully as soon as possible. We're going to try to do these for sure at least once a month, if not a little bit more, but we're glad to try to bring you a little bit of knowledge and something that can hopefully brighten your day and give you something to think about going forward when you come into the pro shop. From AJ
And Justin.
we'll talk to you next time.